Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2019 and a brand new experiment today where we're going to take a look at what would happen if you had the perfect goalkeeper in the game. Now you can see here he is playing at MK Dons and he is keeper Jenkaldo. I have given him the best possible stats across the board except for three key areas. We do not want a goalkeeper with high eccentricity, in my opinion. I think that's his tendency to do the unexpected with or without the ball, and I think that's only likely to cause us problems if he's trying to take on defenders in one-on-one situations. Rushing out, I've left at a 10 because I don't necessarily always think it's a good thing to come rushing out of your goal at every opportunity. So I thought I'd leave that one at a 10, and tendency to punch as well. I left that at 7, although I might change that to 10. Just because sometimes the keeper should catch the ball. But let me know your thoughts on what these stats should be, and I can always change them for the second part of this experiment if we do one. Now, if you do enjoy today's experiment, make sure to drop a like on the video. If you're one of the many new people who have subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I took a brief hiatus for a little while just because my brand new computer decided to break down and the graphics card completely went on the fritz. So it took a while to get a new one sorted and then get the computer back up to speed. But we are there now after the Christmas period, so do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel for more experiments like this, and let me know in the comments if you have ideas for experiments of your own that you would like me to try out on the channel. So what we're going to do is take a look at keeper Jenkaldo's stats. We'll then go forward probably 5 years or so today and see how he gets on in his career. He has started at MK Dons. It's just a team that I randomly picked out of League 2. I've got the top 5 leagues loaded so we can see where he goes across Europe. He is 17 years old at the moment, valued at just 3.7k, obviously a little bit too low there, but you can see he's got perfect everything here, including mental and physicals, but I've also given him perfect free kick, penalty, and technique as well, which should serve him well, and I'm hoping at some point he does get to take a penalty for whatever club he ends up at. Now if we have a look at his attribute details, he's got 200, reputation still around where it should be for a League 2 team, but you can see all of the other key stats up at 20 except for controversy, dirtiness and injury proneness, which we do not want high. He's 186 centimeters, which is pretty tall, 74 kilos in weight, and he can only play as a keeper. I'm not going to let him be any of the outfield positions. He is a goalkeeper, but he's perfect with both feet. I've not added anything to these, although that is something we could look at if we wanted to, but at the moment we'll probably leave it at that. He's currently an English goalkeeper as well, so we'll have to see how he does for England, and we don't need to look at anything else. We've got his stats frozen really, and we're just going to see how he does with MK Dons. Now if we have a look at their general information, they are predicted to win Sky Bet League 2, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can help them do that and how many clean sheets they'll get. I hadn't realised MK Dons were the favourites for this league, currently managed by Cole Robinson, who I think is probably back for a second stint. Oh no, these are just favoured personnel. Paul Ince also in that list. But if we look at their general profile, Paul Tisdale, their current manager. Dean Lewington still at the club at 34. He's been there since they were Wimbledon. So it'll be interesting to see how MK Dons do and how quickly he moves on to another club. But let's go forward now 1 year in time and see if he's still at MK Dons. Well, we are now 1 year into the future, and you can see he surprisingly still is at MK Dons. He has not left the club, which is a real surprise. You can see all of his stats still exactly where they were. If we go and have a look at MK Dons, he is their #1 goalkeeper now. They do not have a lot of players in their team at the moment, probably a lot of loan players leaving. But if we look at their senior squad schedule and go back to last season, you can see their pre-season went reasonably well, a couple of clean sheets in there, and then starting the league off quite well as well. They also kept a clean sheet against Peterborough in their crew. They got a win with a clean sheet, but they are conceding quite a few goals actually, and here's where the clean sheets really kick in. Maybe this is where he comes in. Hang on, there he is, top penalty goal scorer for them. We need to keep an eye actually if he does score any penalties in the league. We just need to see really if they get a penalty at any point and whether he takes it. But they're doing reasonably well, getting quite a few wins. There was a penalty there for the other team. Unbeaten actually in the league at this stage in the season. I think we could probably check his stats at the end of the season as well, but quite a lot of victories here. No penalties at this point of the season. Again, a penalty shootout here. He wasn't involved in that one, I don't think. And they actually got knocked out of 2 trophies. Or no, knocked out of the FA Cup, but lost in the EFL Trophy South group. Still unbeaten in the league, though. That's still going really well. They are getting quite a few clean sheets at this point. He missed his penalty here in this shootout, but they beat Chelsea under 23s on penalties in the second round of that trophy. Still running through the season. Got a draw here with 2 men sent off for most of the match. Lots and lots of victories. But I think we'll just look at the end of the season. You can see they did well in the EFL Trophy as well. They're still unbeaten in League 2 here. Did they go the entire season unbeaten? It looks like they might have, you know. That is impressive. And look at this win streak at the end of the year as well, where they won the EFL Trophy against Mansfield 1-0. But if we look at this League 2 table, going back to last season, they did finish 35 wins, 11 draws, only conceding 17 goals in 46 games. That is the impact of a perfect keeper. You cannot deny that is because they had keeper Jenkaldo in goal. Absolutely sensational stuff. And if we go back and have a look at keeper Jenkaldo, you can see he got 17 goals conceded in 45 games. Looking at his milestones though, going back, made his senior debut, got his under-21 cap, in the team of the week, under-21's vice captain very early on there. They did win the Checkatrade trophy as well. In the MK Dons Best 11, the 18-19 Supporters Player of the Year as well. Winners of Sky Bet League 2 in the Player Select, and Player of the Year in Sky Bet League 2. Look at that. He's Player of the Year as keeper, and then he was named their captain as a result. But that is a goalkeeper winning Player of the Year in League 2. Looking at his profile here, you can see he's not yet made his England debut, but he is doing exceptionally well. And if we look at his transfer screen, Chelsea are rumoured to be interested in the player, but nobody else at the moment. And it's surprising. Normally, the best player gets picked up after just 6 months, but here, that has not been the case. And it's because he's a goalkeeper. He's not getting lots of goals, but he's got a 7.52 rating in all competitions. He kept 35 clean sheets in 55 games, getting 9 Man of the Match awards. That is absolutely exceptional for a goalkeeper as well. He did not get any goals though, which is a little bit of a shame. I didn't see any penalties on their fixture list though, so maybe that is still to come. What we'll do though is we'll go forward one more year into the future and see how he's getting on, and if he's made that transfer to Chelsea or any other big club. Well, we are now one more year into the future, and as you can see, he has now made a transfer to Manchester City. He's currently valued at £31 million. If we look at his career stats here, you can see he spent the entire season here. He must have moved right in that January transfer window, summer transfer window that we were looking at earlier. 675k is absolute daylight robbery, but it looks like he's done reasonably well for Manchester City so far. If we have a look at their senior squad schedule for last season, again, nothing but green and yellow. There's one defeat here to Milan down the bottom, but they're doing exceptionally well. 5-0 win in that friendly, but then 3-2 against Manchester United. A nice 4-0 win here. We do get the player stats starting to appear on the screen, but he's playing straight from the off as they got a lot of victories at the start of the season. Victory over Milan here, 2-0 as well. Won on penalties against Crystal Palace. Ederson in goal, so he did not get the chance to take the penalty, but still going reasonably well in all of the competitions. Just that defeat to Milan really, and even here, look, through the Christmas period, they won almost every game until the final day of the year. And this, what a turnaround here, 2-1 from 81st and 84th minute goals there to overcome at Manchester United at home, but still unbeaten in the league at this point. Could he do back-to-back unbeaten seasons? They were beaten here by United, but they'd already won 2-0, so they got through to the final, and they did beat Arsenal 3-1 in the final as well. 7.1 rating for him there. Beat Porto in the Champions League knockout stages, still going in the FA Cup as well. 3-0 win here as well. 1-0 over Watford, Gabriel Jesus with the goal there, but they lost to Chelsea in the semi-finals. A 6.4 rating, not high enough. They did manage to get past PSG though, 3-0 on aggregate, And in the semi-finals, lost 3-0 away. Benjamin Mendy sent off late, but it still didn't make a difference. They were 3-0 down. And in the return game, 2-0 as well. Surprising to see Real Madrid dispatch Man City that easily in this game. You don't see that very much, but knocked out at the semi-final stage. But I'm pretty sure they just went the entire season unbeaten in the league. And there you go, 27 wins, 11 draws. As a professional footballer in his first 2 years, he's won 2 titles and remained invincible in league football. He has not lost a league game in 2 years in League 2 and then in the Premier League. 92 points, not the highest points total, but still a very, very good season to have done that. And if we have a look at his stats just at the back end here, you can see he didn't get a goal this season yet again, but he did get 20 clean sheets in the league, which is just extremely impressive. So he's had a very good season. He has also played for England though, so we need to have a quick look at how the England team has done. He only started playing for them this year, so if we go back to 2019, we might be able to pick up when he came in. They did lose to France in the Nations League final, but then they started these games off here, and you can see that from September he was in the England team. 3-0, 6-0, a couple of really disappointing games here. 1-1 with Slovakia, and then a 1-0 defeat to Iceland away from home. Really poor. They did get a couple of wins after that. And they did qualify for the Euros, beaten by France in the first game, but then victories over Scotland and Ukraine means they will qualify for the knockout games. And obviously played this game at Wembley, 2-1 win away from home. Late goal from Eric Dyer, making sure that England made it into the knockout stages. The question is, how far can they go? We'll need to go into the future to figure that one out. But let's go forward now, 3 years into the future, and see how he's doing. Well, we are now 3 more years into the future. He is still at Manchester City with a £60 million valuation now, which is pretty high for a goalkeeper. If we go and have a look at the Manchester City senior squad schedule, dropping back to where we left off, which is here, you can see a lot of green again on the screen. Finally, they lose a game though, 2-1 defeat. 2 goals in a minute for West Ham means that Manchester City and keeper Jenkaldo have been beaten for the first time. But they did win another Community Shield 3-1 there. A lot of green through the rest of the season. They did lose to Manchester United 1-0 and Wolves 2-1 as well. But doing well in the other cups. Managed to get into the final just about there. 3-2 on aggregate of the Europa League, and in the final, not the Europa League, the EFL Cup, they did lose 2-0. Pogba and Sanchez for United, bringing them to a stop. They did manage to beat Real Madrid though in the away leg of their Champions League knockout game, and 2-1 at home means they get revenge and make it into the next round. Still going in the FA Cup as well, but then lost to Manchester United again in the semi-final, 1-0 defeat. They managed to beat Bayern 1-0 at home, and then 2-1 they lost, but went through on away goals. Marco Asensio getting them that crucial goal. They then beat Man United 4-1 in the semi-final first leg, lost 2-0 away from home. Late goal from Rashford would have made for an exciting finish, but it was not enough. And they did win the Champions League 1-0 over Juventus. Leroy Sané with the goal, and they have won the Champions League. First one for keeper Jenkaldo. Now they lost the Community Shield here. There is a big rivalry beginning to show with Manchester United, actually manifesting in the game, which you don't always see. They lost the European Super Cup though, doing well in the rest of their games at the start of the season. A defeat to Crystal Palace early on means it's not going to be an unbeaten season. They did win the Club World Cup though, 2-1 over Boca Juniors. Out of the EFL Cup, still going in the FA Cup and the Champions League, but they were beaten by Leipzig here, 2-2 in the first game, a late goal from Jeffrey in Adelaide, and then in the return game at home, 2 late goals, Alan and Timo Werner knocking Manchester City out as defending European champions. They did manage to go all the way in the FA Cup though. A 2-0 win over Manchester United would have been quite sweet. And now in the most recent season, another Community Shield there. Just running through these games, you can see they're still going, knocked out of the EFL Cup quarter-final. They were, they lost their opening, or not the opening game, 4 games in, they did lose the Premier League game. I thought they might have gone reasonably unbeaten until this Arsenal match, but that was their second defeat of the season. Got past Atletico Madrid 4-2 on aggregate in the Champions League through the FA Cup quarterfinals 2-0 over Chelsea, beat Liverpool with keeper Jenkaldo getting the first penalty there, 1-1. But on penalties making it through. Beat Bayern as well in the Champions League quarterfinals 3-0 on aggregate. Could we see a famous treble here? They did get past Liverpool in the Champions League semi-finals. Marco Asensio with the goal. In the FA Cup they beat Tottenham 1-0 in the final. Brahim Diaz with the goal. And in the Champions League they lost to Juventus, just missing out on that treble. But it's been a pretty trophy-laden time for keeper Jenkaldo, it has to be said. He's now got 49 England caps as well. And if we do just look at his career stats here, still no goals. He's not been allowed to take penalties, unfortunately. But he did get 29 clean sheets in all competitions in his second season, 30 in the one after that, and 34 the year after that. He got 32 in his first season. So the most recent year, his best year for clean sheets in all competitions down here. He also got 21 league clean sheets as well. If we look at his milestones, actually let's do that in a minute, because we want to have a quick look first at the England national team's schedule going back a few years here to 2020 where we left off. So they just got through their group after losing to France, and then an 87th minute winner from Eric Dyer taking them through. Eric Dyer again with a 97th minute winner in the second round in the quarterfinals, 3-2. Again, 84th minute, 89th minute, sending them through. A late goal here nearly caused for a knockout upset from Switzerland. They got revenge on France when it mattered as well. Dyer, Alexander-Arnold and Kane with the winning goals. And then won on penalties, 3-0. You don't see that very often, but in a penalty shootout, England did manage to win. 10 men Italy had late on, but they managed to do it. Kane, Ali and Rashford getting the goals, and so he has won the European Championships with England. They did well in the Nations League as well, managing to get through there. World Cup qualifiers went well. And you can see here, Confederations Cup, they did manage to get out of their group despite losing to the USA, the Nigeria B team playing there. In the semi-finals, 2-0 over Brazil. And then in the final, a 3-2 win over France. 3 goals in about 15 minutes. Giving them that very sweet victory. These 2 goals happened at the exact same minute, which is quite surprising. You don't even know who scored first there, actually, either, do you? But they kept on going through the World Cup qualifiers as well. Confederations Cup and a European Championship to their name, but still not quite making it in the Nations League. World Cup, though, did not go to plan. They managed to beat Jamaica, Wales and Colombia, but then lost to Switzerland in the knockout stage. Joe Gomez sent off 2 minutes in, will not have helped. Keeper Jenkaldo having a poor game as well, means they were knocked out there. They also lost the Nations League final to Portugal. Bernardo Silva with the goal there, so missing out on that competition as well. But if we just have a quick look at Keeper Jenkaldo's milestones, we'll see that he really has absolutely dominated across almost everything. Let's split this up into the competitions first, where he's got a Checker Trade Trophy, a Sky Bet League 2, Community Shield, Carabao Cup, Premier League, European Championship, Community Shield, another Premier League, Champions League, Federations Cup, winners of the Club World Cup, another FA Cup, another Premier League, and another FA Cup there as well, but runners-up in the Champions League and the Nations League. If we look at his biography here, for the personal awards, he won the Sky Bet League 2 Player of the Year, the English Players Young Player of the Year on 4 occasions, the Premier League Golden Glove 3 times, the European Champions Cup Goalkeeper of the Season twice, and the FIFA Best Men's Goalkeeper runner-up twice. So he must have, these 2 seasons, he finished second to Thibaut Courtois, and then this most recent season, Becker won it with Ter Stegen in second and Jenkaldo in third. So that is a little bit disappointing. He has not yet won the Golden Glove. He is probably some way away from winning the Golden Ball, if ever. I don't think a goalkeeper can actually win that award. But you can see he had a better average rating than the other keepers in that season. Didn't quite manage it that year. And the year before, he was still the best goalkeeper in average rating. So I don't know quite why he's not won that award. Especially this season, given that he won the Premier League and Champions League and went unbeaten in the Premier League. He has not got the award with the highest average rating as well. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And he had more clean sheets. In what world has he not won that award? Anyway, that is going to be it for today's episode. I'm trying to cram a bit more into these experiments in each part, which I think you guys want. If you did enjoy today's episode, make sure to drop a like on the video and to subscribe to the channel if you're new. If I get enough likes on this video, I will do a second part to this, and maybe we'll see another 5 or 10 years into the future in his career. But until next time, see ya.